Hi everyone, my name is Will Gardner. I am a junior student here at Hanover College, and recently, a lot happens with people's faith, and especially for someone who is in college, it can be extremely difficult for people to sort of hold on to their childlike faith that they have when they're younger. I am a Christian, um, actually a fairly new Christian in the true sense of the term. And I've been doing something recently that I think has been helping me a lot with my understanding of the gospel and the Bible. And I'm hoping that I can sort of share this and then maybe speak to some of you if you're struggling or you want to understand the gospel or want to work through it with someone like me who's trying to just go through it and get a better understanding because I want to live it every day. And what I've been doing is I've been going through and reading the scripture piece by piece. My Bible has little headers that give me sort of, for example, today's reading for me was the visit of the wise men. And I'll go through and I'll just read from Matthew 2:1 all the way through Matthew 2:12, and that's basically the story of the wise men. And I'll just read that, and then I write in my journal. I'll write a reflection on what I read. And I'm only doing a little bit at a time because I think it's really important for people to sort of analyze, grasp, reflect, and pray on one thing at a time, because I don't want to get too much in there and not be able to appreciate each part of the scripture. So I want to talk a little bit about what I read for today, because I think that the story of the wise men is sort of overlooked a lot. But there are two main things that I think really stood out to me today. Just beginning at the beginning of this story, the wise men see this sign in the sky. They follow it. They meet Herod. Everyone sort of has a general idea of the way the story goes, but what kind of caught my attention was this blind faith, I think, that the wise men would have had, or the Magi is the Greek word that was used. And they're sort of astrologers, but even so, I mean, at the time period, they would have been sitting in their study and looking up at the sky for weeks and thinking, there's a star. This star, what does it mean? They're thinking about it, reflecting on it, and then it hits them. It's the star, the king of Israel. The birth of Christ, the Messiah. It's his star. And then they just pack up and go. I mean, it would be like me sitting in my dorm room like I am right now, seeing a sign from God, not fully understanding what it is, and just packing my bags and leaving. That blind faith, to me, is amazing. But at the same time, it's something that I really want. I want that faith. I want that blind faith to just drop my things, be completely, give myself heart, mind, soul to God, to Jesus. Just say, this is a sign. I'm giving myself to Christ. I'm going. Lord, you have given me a sign. Let me follow. That is so powerful to me. The courage, the wisdom that it takes to just give yourself your life, change your life completely, just go. That blind faith is something that I don't know. I don't think that is something that people get out of this that much, but putting myself in that position, it's amazing. And that's something that I'm going to try to do. Is to, if I see a sign from God, and that's another question. How do we know? What does a sign from God look like? How can we know what that looks like? I don't know that they knew. But I pray that I will have the courage to go. When I see this sign, I will go. Part of that is just believing and knowing and loving Christ. If you love Christ, if you believe in Him 100%, loving Him fully 100%, 110%, then that's something that is going to be there. It's going to happen. It has happened to a lot of people, I'm sure. And it may not always be rational, but that's not, nothing's always rational. I know that everybody knows that and has experienced that at some point. Another thing that stuck out to me, because it sort of ends, they have a dream not to go back to Herod, so they leave and go back on their own road. But the whole story of it, other than the blind faith that they had, the whole story of the wise men, the Magi, it's just sort of like, it makes you wonder why did God even orchestrate that? And then, after doing a little bit of research on Herod, at the time, Herod was king of the Jews. And he was ruthless, which is evident in the next part of the scripture, the next part of the Gospel of Matthew. But even so, at the time, Herod was ruthless. And I think that the Magi come to Herod, tell him about what they've seen. The true king of the Jews, the Messiah, is coming. It actually says in here, verse 3, it says, "When King Herod heard this, he was frightened, and all Jerusalem with him." Herod ruled ruthlessly with sin. And I think this message, the visiting of the wise men, the revealing of the Messiah's coming, was a message to Herod and to all leaders who lead with sin and rule with sin and are ruthless and don't act according to God. This challenging of his rule, the coming of the Messiah, the true king, the fear that strikes into the heart of the sinner, I think that's amazing. The challenge, the fear. Herod was ruthless. He was the king of the Jews at the time. He had the power. And that fear shows that, at least to me, from what I've gotten from it, it shows that with the might of God, the righteousness of God, of Christ, that no matter how powerful, how ruthless, even a strong ruler, if they're ruling with sin, the righteousness of Christ and of God is going to strike fear into their heart. So I hope that I'm definitely not a scholar. I'm hoping that maybe if we can walk through this together as a college student, maybe you're a college student, maybe you're younger, maybe you're older, I don't know, but if you're new to the Christian faith, or if you've been a Christian for a while and you're just looking for something new to do, this is something that I really think helps. It has helped me focus my mind on the gospel. And I think that when I'm done with this, when I've read through the gospel, through the New Testament, I think that my appreciation for it will be 1,000-fold what it always has been. I pray that you all will go along with this, or maybe you have your own way of reflecting on the scriptures, on the gospel. I mean, it is something that is amazing. It's a gift. It's a gift. So I hope that you will continue to watch these. Leave comments if you have any questions. We can't all do this alone. We have to do this together at times. Your reflection is yours, but maybe these videos will be sort of a uniting feature. And like I said, questions, comments, please let me know. It's exciting. It's exciting. And amazing. It's amazing. God bless all of you.